everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. I'm Jo Michaels, the baking author, and today we're going to make pecan pie and our very own pie crust. We have to start with the pie crust. So I'm going to get that kind of going here. Again, use really good butter, okay? Because you're going to get a lot less of the oiliness from a really good butter than you would from like a store brand butter or something like that. So I am using Plugra extra creamy unsalted butter, and it has the measurements on the little flap here. I'll show you in just a second. I've tried several different kinds of butter, and this one happens to be one of my favorites. It's got a lot of like really good fat in it, but it's not overdone. So as you can see, the measurements for the tablespoons are on the side. This is like the equivalent of 2 sticks of other butter. So it's very, it's a whole cup. So 16 tablespoons. So we want to be really careful and just get our 6 tablespoons. This pie crust that I'm about to make makes 2, so you can cut it in half if you just need to make 1 pie crust. You're going to need 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 3/4 of a cup of shortening, and the reason we use shortening and butter is because it actually results in like a creamier pie crust. It's flakier, it lasts longer. Anyway, so we're going to do that. Let me just cube this, and then that's what we're starting off doing. We're going to cube up our butter, take our Crisco and put it in this bowl as well, and then we're going to pop it all in the freezer for about 30 minutes so it gets good and cold before we use our pastry blender and cut it into our flour. Now you're also going to need a 1/2 cup of ice water, not just cold water, but ice water. And if you want to get a little creative, you can do a 1/4 cup of ice water and a 1/4 cup of vodka, which is what I'm going to do. I have some mango vodka. Of course, the vodka doesn't really add flavor. You can't taste the mango, but what happens is the vodka is like 40% alcohol, so it will flash evaporate and make your pie crust super duper duper flaky. It's so good. So I will show you how to measure out your 1/4 cup of ice water in just a little bit. Right now I'm just cubing up this butter and getting it in this bowl so I can pop it in that freezer. And your cubes don't have to be perfect. We don't care. Again, you know me, cooking in my kitchen, nothing is ever perfect because perfection is a lie, right? Oh, yup, perfection is a lie. And if you happen to get it perfect, you know what? I have to give you props because, dude, I've never gotten anything perfect, especially on the first try. So give yourself some room for error. Now I have a 1/4 cup flexible measuring cup, and it actually helps a lot with things like Crisco because you can pop it out. So I'm just going to scoop up. I'm going to fill this 3 times because I need 3/4 of a cup. I'm almost out of Crisco in this can. It's okay, I have another one. But I think there should be just about 3/4 of a cup of Crisco in here, so I'm getting lucky. You can also buy this in bars. It comes in pre-measured bars for things like baking. And I'm not trying to be super duper precise because just kind of level. I have to make sure that the bottom doesn't really bow out because it has a tendency to do that. And I'm just going to plop it in there on top of my butter. It's not going to hurt anything if it touches the butter. It's all going to the same place anyway. I have some exciting recipes coming this quarter. I think you guys are going to be really happy. But pecan pie is from my best friend Tia Bach. She's also a writer. She writes Young Adult Paranormal and under Tia Bach, and then she also writes Sweet Romance under Callie Lemire. So if you want, you could check her books out. If you like well, not really werewolves. They're more like just shapeshifters. But her chasing books are like really good. Chasing memories, chasing shadows, chasing eternity. They're a very good series. I would highly recommend them. Ah, I'm out. I have to get my other can. I feel like a beast, man. Like my arms have been getting so big because my weight's like I feel like I'm like bulked up. So legs too. Of course, my arthritis in my right knee's been acting up so much. I don't know if it's because of the weather or what, but ooh, I'm in a lot of pain. That being said, I'm gonna go get my other can of Crisco. I will be right back with you guys. Okay, I'm back. Yay. Now my hands are slippery from the other can. I can't get this one open. Ah! Okay. Sorry for the squeal. I know that was probably really loud. Oh my goodness. What have I done to myself? Okay. Again, my arthritis in my hands doesn't let me grab. Doesn't let me grab hold of this. Let's see if my apron will help. Oh, yes, thank you. That was a hell of a battle right there. Woo! Okay. I got the lid off. Sealed for safety. Toss that in the trash. And here we go. All right, scooping it up. I really didn't need a whole lot either. That makes me mad. Anyway, this is going to be like the best pecan pie ever. So if you like pecan pie but you think it's too sweet, I think you will love this recipe. It has more nuts, less sugar. I got it from my mom. Rest her soul. I miss my mom. She was an amazing lady. She could not make a pie crust like this though. She bought the pre-made ones from the store, which, hey, if you do that, go you. But I like to make my own just because I'm me, you know. Anyway, okay, so I have a little bowl, as you can see, full of Crisco and cubed butter. And I'm going to pop that in the freezer for 30 minutes, and I will be back with you guys after that. Put the Crisco away, put the butter back in the fridge so it doesn't go all wonky, and then we will get to making some pie crust. I will see y'all then. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been half an hour. My butter is super cold and so is my Crisco. So we are ready to rock and roll. All right, we're going to add 2½ cups of flour to this bowl. Red box. Woohoo. Okay, 2½ cups of flour to this bowl. Again, spooned and leveled. This is just all-purpose flour. Then we're going to add the salt and kind of give it a little mix around before we put in our fats, okay? So this is a ½ cup measuring cup, so I'm going to do it 5 times. This makes 2. Now, if you want to sift your flour, you can, but it's not necessary. 3. And yes, I could have used a 1 cup measuring cup and then a ½ cup, but that means more dishes. And we all know that I hate to wash extra dishes. So 4. So that's our 2 cups. Now our ½ cup. Again, this makes 2 pie crusts. And the reason I don't have my pie dish out right now is because we are not going to just assemble this and roll it. We're going to actually refrigerate it. So get your cling wrap ready. And that makes 2.5. So now I'm done with those and this for now. I will need to flour my counter later. I may need to flour my counter right after I get this all cut together. All right, 1 teaspoon of regular salt. I'm not using coarse salt because I want it to distribute very, very evenly. And you want your pie crust to have some flavor. I'm just going to use my spoon and give that a mix around. I'm actually going to leave a little well here in the middle. This is a pastry blender. It cuts in fats to flour. Looks like this. I think I paid 10 bucks for this on Amazon. I will link it below for you in case you want to grab one. And I'm just going to scoop my fats right into my flour and salt mixture. So that was all my fats that I had hanging out in the freezer. And they are super cold, so this is going to be a fun time. And just cut this in. You don't have to go crazy here. We just want it to kind of look like peas by the time we're done. And it's going to take some arm work. Just try really hard to work fast. You can do this in a food processor, but remember your flour is going to kind of go poof, so be prepared to add just a bit more flour if you need to. This is a very rich pie crust, super flaky, tastes fantastic. I don't like pie crust that just tastes like butter. Makes me squeamish. Again, we're just going to add a 1/2 cup of liquid to this. It's going to be a 1/4 cup of this frozen vodka and a 1/4 cup of this ice water out of this bowl right here. I have my liquid measure cup. You can tell because it has a spout on the side. And we will get to mixing that in once I cut all of this fat, I told you it would be good exercise, into this flour. Now you're going to want to see streaks of butter, streaks of Crisco once you get it all cut in and rolled out and stuff. If it gets too hard to cut, you can also use 2 forks to do this, but it's a lot harder. I ain't gonna lie. Like a lot harder. Just knock your fats off your cutter once in a while. This is not going to look like your typical pie crust that you may think it's going to look like, so I will show you what point you want to be at before you start adding your liquid. This bowl is about to jump off my counter. Like I said, this is not easy, and I have lotion on my hands, which probably is not helping me grip this metal pastry blender very well. So it's kind of slipping and sliding as well. My skin is so dry in the winter. I know you guys can identify. This is almost like a rough puff, y'all. I grabbed the wrong tool. Don't you love when you do that? You just blindly reach for something and bam, wrong one. My bad. Okay, this should already look a lot like a dough. That's just with your fats in there. I will show you what we're working with before I start adding my water. Water is fun. Looks like that. You can see it's in big pieces. You're not going for like super fine here, and it's going to be kind of clumpy. So we're actually going to start with our vodka. Oops, cap went flying. Yeehaw. Does not want to go back on this bottle. It's like, nope, I'm not going back on there, but you can. All right, got a quarter of a cup of that. And a quarter of a cup of ice water, which I'm gonna make a mess with. Yeah. I just don't want to measure over my bowl because that's no good. This is super duper cold. So mix it right in there with your vodka. Now, you don't want to just pour all this in, okay? Got your spoon. Now I need it. What we're gonna do is pour a little bit, mix a little bit, pour a little bit, mix a little bit. It's not like a one-off type thing, okay? So that's probably about half. Then just get to stirring. And what you want is for your mixture to kind of come together. Whew, I can smell that. So what alcohol did, it's lovely. Hello, Mrs. Doubtfire. So nice to meet you. Just a bit more, not much. Okay, perfect. We are looking good. All right, you know it looks good when it kind of comes together like that. Looks kind of like Play-Doh. So now I'm going to add some flour on my counter here. And you can do this in the mixer, but you know, you're really going to break up that butter and Crisco. So I had probably 1/8 of a cup of water left, maybe a little less. All right, so we're going to flour our counter. There's splashes of water everywhere. I hope that doesn't mess me up. Probably will, but that's okay. Ugh. Now the secret to this is don't overwork it, all right? You're not trying to make it into a kneadable dough. What you're doing is just bringing it together. So don't overdo it in this step. Don't melt your butter and your Crisco with your hands, okay? You're just making it smooth. Well, smoother. Should have dipped this in flour. It's everywhere. Those fats just look lovely. And again, I'm just bringing it together. I am not trying to knead it too much. I do actually want it to just come to a dough. Okay, that's enough. Now I'm going to hold it up to the camera so you can see the little pieces of butter in it. That's what it should look like. You should have little bits of butter all through your crust. This will make 2. Like I said, if you just need 1, feel free right now to have this and put half of it in the freezer. It will keep, okay? Make sure you thaw it at refrigerator temperature and then let it sit on the counter for just a few minutes before you use it. You don't want those fats to melt. Whew, okay. So before we get too warm, good thing it's not like hot in my kitchen today. We are gonna put this into the fridge. I know. Lots of refrigerating, but that makes good pie dough. And I'm popping mine in the fridge for about 2 hours. Just wrap it up as tight as you can in some plastic wrap. Putting this in the fridge for 2 hours, and I will be back with you guys after that, and we will get to rolling some stuff out, okay? I will see y'all then. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been 2 hours. My dough is nice and stiff. That's kind of what you're looking for. I'm just going to unwrap it. Now, I'm not going to use the other half of this right now. So what I'm actually going to do, oh God, can't believe I got the hair in there. Anyway, so what I'm actually going to do is cut that in half. And I'm going to use half of it now, and then I'm going to wrap the other half back up. Like so. Now this can be frozen for up to, I think, 3 weeks, or it can be refrigerated for up to 2 days, okay? So that's gonna go back in the fridge. Now before I start rolling my dough out, I'm actually gonna cut off a little tiny piece. We're gonna use this as a dough pusher. So what that is, that means like pushing it into the sides, because I don't want fingernail marks in it. So that's what that's for. Now I'm going to put some flour on my counter, just so this doesn't go crazy and stick everywhere. And you don't need a lot, just a little bit. And then kind of smash your dough flat, flip it over, and give it the same treatment on the other side. Now you should still be able to see little bits of butter in there. That's a good thing. And when you're rolling out pie dough, don't do like this, okay? Start in the middle and roll away from you very gently. Turn 90 degrees and roll again. My butter is actually coming off on my rolling pin. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. So, this is how you're going to get your pie dough to be round. I'm just going to add just a spritz more flour and flip it over again. Going this way. Roll from the middle, please. And remember, since this is a homemade pie dough, you pretty much can patch it together, schlep it around, whatever you want to do there. It's got crackety cracks. It's okay, just pinch them together like that. It works. It's a very tender pie dough. My counter is flourless again. You can also just smidge some flour on your rolling pin like so, and that helps not pick up the butter. Not really too worried about it. We're actually going to roll this out bigger than we need it to be. I have my pie plate right here. That's where this is going. Then, believe it or not, and I know you guys are going to be like, oh my god, this is going back in the refrigerator once we get it rolled out. But why, Joe? Because kind of like biscuits, pie dough is best whenever you put it in the oven super duper cold. That is just me evening out my edges. You are going to have to work at this, okay? It's not just going to come easily, and it shouldn't, but once you get this down, you get good at it, people are going to be like, that is the best pie I've ever eaten in my life. Because once you nail crust, you're golden. Look how pretty that is. And we're going to get it as thin as we can potentially get it, because this pie crust will hold your pie no problem, but you don't want like super thick crust anywhere on your pie. That is bad. It also will tear very easily, so be careful when you go to pick it up to put it on your pie plate. And make it like 12 inches instead of 9, because you want some trimmable edges. So this is pretty thin. I can see my counter through it actually. And it is going to come apart whenever I go to pick it up, because it does have a lot of butter in it, okay? But that's okay, because we can patch it together. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know? It just needs to be. Doing my best, rolling it around my rolling pin here. Move my pie plate over, and just very carefully, whoo, maybe not so carefully, roll it over the pie plate. Now you can see there's a lot of cracked edges and holes and whatnot, but that's okay. That's what our pie pusher, the thing that we cut off, that's what that's for. And you can always hodgepodge your pie crust back together. Always. There's never like a, oh my god, I screwed this pie crust up, it is unsavable. No. If you need a piece, take a piece and smash it in. We will get to this will be perfect and pretty in just a minute. Keep your knife handy though. You're gonna need it. Stick. Thank you. And because there's so much butter in this, it's really going to stick to your fingers if you're not careful. So if you got to put some flour on your fingers, that's fine, do that. I'm not a big fluted edges type person. If you are, you want to knead this just another extra minute before you put it in the fridge. Distribute that butter a little easier, a little more, a little better. This is going to be very flaky and very thin, which is what I really like on a pecan pie, or any pie, but especially a pecan pie, because I want to taste the filling. I don't particularly like the crust on most pecan pies. This one I will eat though, because it's not too much, you know? You know how pie crust can be like too much? You're like, wow, that's a really good pie crust, but there's a bit much of it. It's kind of like that. Okay. To keep this from Mod Podging all over my fingers, it looks a mess right now, but that's okay. We're gonna fix it. That's what this is for. All right, I have this little ball of dough, and what I'm gonna do is use it to kind of press my pie crust into the sides. This butter is melting faster than a snow cone in hell. And again, I'm not big on decorative edges. I do like to take my fork and just go around it. I mean, that's enough, right? You don't have to be Betty Crocker to do that. And Betty Crocker, I am not. Most definitely not Betty Crocker. I'm not that cool. Oh, my butter is melting. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my knife and just go around the outside edge, off the side of the pie plate. Nobody is going to see any of this anyway. It's all going to be under your pecans, and once they have a bite, they're not going to care. Now, if you're doing an apple pie, you want to make that pretty lattice top, make sure you mix that butter in just a little more than we did here. It will matter. When you go to make your lattice and go to move it over your pie, you don't want it to fall apart. So it needs to be a much more coherent kind of pie crust. I'm hoping my pecan pie does not come up higher than the crust. Again, if you want those fluted edges, you're on your own. You'll have to knead this a little more before you pop it in the fridge. I like the flakier pie crust so the edges don't matter. Yep, that looks a hot mess. But that is going to be so delicious. My family will love it. They're the ones I cook for, right? They are the ones that matter. It's all about their taste buds, not mine. Because I eat anything that doesn't eat me first. Yeah. I'm going to cobble this back into that package. That's why I did not put it away yet. It's like a snow cone on the 4th of July. All right. There's our pie dish covered with dough. It doesn't look great, but it looks okay. It's passable, and it will hold a pie. And that's really all I care about. Ah. Okay, now this and that are going back in the fridge. The butter's already melting. It's already getting a little warmer in my house. The best season in the world to make pies, fall. Your house is just colder. Your pie crust is going to do much better. So cobble that together just like that. It does not matter. Roll it back up because I don't want any air in there. I'm popping all this back in the fridge. All right, for half an hour, and then I will be back with you guys. Or, well, for half an hour. I'll be back with you guys in a few minutes because we are going to put our interior of our pie crust, or our pie together, and preheat our oven. Okay, I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. Our pie crust is in the fridge, and I have got my trusty bowl and my butter. And so what you're going to need is sugar, vanilla, a little bit of salt, dark corn syrup and light corn syrup. I know I'm strange. 2 cups of pecans, 2 tablespoons of butter that we're about to melt, and 3 eggs. And that's it. And of course, your pie crust, which should not be done yet. It should still be chilling in your fridge. It's still chilling in your fridge, right? Good deal. Okay, so let me just throw this butter back into its packet. Again, I'm using the Plugro butter. It's just a better butter. It's got creamier in it. So I'm going to go pop this in the microwave to melt it. I'll be right back. Alright guys, my butter's in the microwave. Make sure you have a pan, like a baking pan that's covered in something, because pecan pies do tend to bake over the edges. I don't know if it's the eggs or what, but they poof up in the middle, and they take a stupid long time to bake. I'm talking like an hour at 350. So, you can also make this a chocolate pecan pie if you want. Just add some semi-sweet or dark chocolate. Don't add milk chocolate. Don't make it too sweet. And you want to throw in about 2 ounces of that. If you want a chocolatier chocolate pie, put in 4. That's a lot. And you may want to just cut the sugar out altogether. So my mother, being the mother that she was, did not like sweet desserts. She liked semi-sweet desserts. So this is not that cloyingly sweet pecan pie that you get other places. I know. I bet that's what you were all hoping for, huh? That cloyingly sweet pecan pie. Alright, so I need a half a cup of sugar. Most recipes call for a whole cup, but we are not doing that, because you're already going to add 2 cups of Caro syrup. So that's actually going to be super duper sweet on its own. My microwave is screaming at me. It's like, hey, did you forget you put some butter in here? I did not forget. All right, that's a half a cup of sugar. Just regular sugar. Let me go get the butter. It was not done melting. So I'm mixing my sugar with my eggs, and I'm fixing to add my vanilla and my little bit of salt right into this fun mixture. Yum. Sweet eggs. Who'd thunk? Who'd have thunk it? Okay, so for your vanilla, most people want a teaspoon. We are going to go with about 2 teaspoons. Gives it a little more flavor. My butter's exploding. Hang on just a second. Yikes. Okay, so like a teaspoon of my butter ended up on my microwave. It went kapow because I was not standing over it. I usually stick my face in front of the microwave and watch it, but I did not. So whatever. Salt. Don't want a lot of salt, just a pinch. Okay? That was maybe half a teaspoon of coarse salt. I love salt. Salt is where it's at. Now I'm going to pour the hot butter into the eggs, okay? We don't want it to break or start to scramble those eggs. What I'm going to do is first add my corn syrup. So I want 1 cup of light corn syrup and 1 cup of dark. Usually you would use 2 cups of dark corn syrup or 2 cups of light corn syrup. But I find a mix of the two. Hey guys, okay, pie's out of the oven. Look at that. Woohoo! You will know it's done when it's not really jellified anymore. It will still be just a little bit wiggly, but if you put like a fork or a knife in the middle, you'll have to maybe scoot your pecans over and just pull it out. It shouldn't have any creaminess on it. It should just be the pie filling. So there you go. There's a pecan pie. We will wait for this to completely cool. It took it exactly 67 minutes. So wait for it to cool, and then I'll be back and I'll cut a piece, and man, that crust looks like it's just going to come right apart, which is wonderful. It makes me so happy, and I will see you guys then. All right, bye for now. Hey you guys, it's been a long day, but my pecan pie is finally cool, and I am going to take a bite because yum. This is like my favorite dessert. It's the one thing that I don't think I could ever give up. I just love the candied pecans on top and all that yummy gooey filling. Ooh, yum. Alright. May not be the prettiest pie in the world, but man, does it ever taste good. Okay. So, I'm probably going to finish this piece of pie because it's freaking awesome. But not right now. Pecans are crunchy. They're toasty. They're candied. That filling is not too sweet. It's just thick enough. Like, mwah. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you try this recipe out, let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you changed anything, if you didn't, whatever. Be sure you subscribe. Button's around here somewhere. And check out some of my other videos while you're here. Be sure and share on social media. Tag me. I'm at WriteJoMichaels, W-R-I-T-E. If you see the right, you got the right one on all social media. Share with your friends. Encourage them. Come on, cook with me. I'm excited to have you. I'll see you guys next time.